witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Mocha's Daily Drip, your daily dose of headlines, hot takes, serving it up fresh, one cup at a time. Yes, everybody, how y'all been doing? I just felt it would be easier since I had two channels. That way, if I had to upload or do a news break or a hot topic, that way I could upload both at the same time, because as you know, I do have my Mocha's Ladies Lounge, specifically my safe space for ladies, but I also have my Mocha's Cafe de Paris, which is my co-ed channel for men and women. So sometimes, you know, I don't like to neglect one channel and not upload content on the other. So whenever it comes to these hot topics, I'm just going to label it Mocha's Daily Drip. That way I could upload it on both channels. I'm having a hard time getting the ladies to cross over to my Mocha's Cafe de Paris, and I'm sure not about to have the guys, you know, integrate into the Mocha's Ladies Lounge, my male subscribers. So this is just a smarter way of me doing it. So I hope everybody's doing well. Please hit that like button, y'all, and if y'all hear somebody barking in the background, my apologies. My dog decides to be noisy every time I upload. So nevertheless, y'all, let me get into this right away. So y'all, it's been going viral. Everybody has been talking about it, and I really feel for the Frost in this case. If y'all are not familiar with Love and Hip Hop, Rasheeda and Kirk Frost, they've been on the show for many years, and there's been like a lot of controversy surrounding their marriage, you know, with Kirk's infidelities, and a lot of people have been dragging Rasheeda through the mud, you know, saying she's weak and, you know, that she's dumb, just basically, you know, been putting her down because she chose, despite what the world has to say, she's chosen to still stand by her marriage and still support Kirk and still continue her union. Meanwhile, they want to give the side chick Jasmine a pass, you know, like, hey, you know, Kirk was the one that was married, and as we all know, these side chicks do not care if these men are married at all. They're going to do what they do. But nevertheless, right, Kirk and Rasheeda has been one of the veterans of the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They've pretty much been on the show for many seasons. They've been one of the most solid cast members as far as consistency. We've seen them over the years be very open and very transparent about a lot of their marital issues. So a lot of people have been giving them a lot of flack for that, but nevertheless, they've overcame a lot of circumstances that a lot of people refuse to give them credit for. And I actually did go to that restaurant, Frost Bistro in Atlanta, and I would say the ambiance was really awesome. The oxtails and the grits was great. My husband had the red velvet waffles with the fried chicken. So, I mean, say what you want to say, but they making boss moves. You know, they're in real estate. They got their own restaurants. Rasheeda has her clothing line and all of that. So, regardless of all of what they've had to overcome, they've been able to, you know what I mean, take the punches and keep it rolling. But in this situation, y'all, I kind of grieve for them in a sense, because say what you want to say about the Frost, but for the most part, their kids have always been pretty good. I've never really heard nothing negative, you know, about their children. I know Kirk has had multiple children before him and Rasheeda had any children together. I know him and Rasheeda have two sons together, Kai and Carter. And of course, we know Kirk did have another child within the marriage from Jasmine named Cannon. And being that Kirk is older than Rasheeda, I think there's like a 8 or 10 year difference, I'm not sure, but Kirk is way older than Rasheeda, right? So he already had a lot of responsibilities before him and Rasheeda got together. So he already had children from previous relationships. You know, Kirk was a wild boy back in the day, and still is to this day to a certain degree, but I beg to differ. Let's get to the main point. Kirk and Rasheeda got something much more heavier that they're going to be facing, other than their typical marital issues. It appears that Kirk Foster's daughter Kelsey and her boyfriend, rapper T Hood, allegedly unalived by her brother, which is Rasheeda's oldest son, Kai, and one of Kirk Frost's other sons from a previous relationship, allegedly had taken the life of rapper T Hood, who we see Kelsey booed up with. Now, if you've been keeping up with the season of Love and Hip Hop, Kelsey has did some pop-up appearances. As a matter of fact, she was the one that was going to Jasmine to get Cannon, I guess to keep the peace, so that way Rasheeda wouldn't have to go exactly to Jasmine and or her father Kirk. So she was kind of like the mediator. She was always kind of the voice of reason from what I remember in the show. Like, Dad, I know you and Jasmine don't get along, but we do have a brother. So she's a very level-headed young woman from what I've seen on the show. As I stated, the Frost, I've never had any major issues, not as far as their children. I remember when I was at the restaurant that their oldest son, Kai, he was actually working and busting the tables while he was there. So say what you will about the Frost, but they believe in making their children work. They do not hand them things, they make them pretty much earn their keep. And I respect celebrity parents that do that don't try to make their children's lives easier, that they prepare them for the real world. But this is what's going on, y'all. This is a situation that's very heavy and sensitive, especially because it involves domestic violence and someone losing their life. So I definitely want to approach this in a respectful manner so it doesn't come off as messy gossip. But y'all, this is very, very, very a very disheartening situation, y'all. And again, everything is alleged. And let me start off by saying anything that I use in this content is fair use. Anything that I state is based off of my own opinion. None of the things that I address in the content is actual factual. It's just basically based off of my own train of thought, my own opinions. I will be using other content creators' content for viewing purposes only, because this is fair use. Like I say, anything I say is not actual factual. It's just mere opinion for educational and entertainment purposes only. My disclaimer is also within the section of my video description in the box. Okay, so just wanted to put that out there, right? So what started as a domestic dispute quickly spiraled into a chain of events no one could take back, leaving one man unalived, a family that may very well be torn apart, and questions about choices that has pretty much changed everything. So we're going to dive in, y'all, with the Daily Drip. Take a closer look at this incident involving Kirk Frost's daughter, Kelsey, and the tragic outcome about her brothers that became, and again, all of this is alleged, in a domestic violence situation. This isn't just a celebrity headline, it's a real-life reminder of how quickly emotions, loyalty, and split-second decisions can lead to irreversible consequences, right? So, I'm going to kind of dive in a little bit and play some content for a content creator who I truly respect. He goes by the name of Hood Educated. I do watch a lot of his content. I'm definitely I'm tongue-tied today, y'all. Yes, but I'm definitely a very loyal subscriber. I view a lot of his content because not only he addresses a lot of the stories that are the hot topics, but he actually breaks it down in a manner in which he educates you in a sense about street politics for those of us who are not out there, who are not involved in the street life, not involved in gangs and things of that nature. He gives a lot of interesting topics. I definitely recommend that you subscribe to him. He's definitely good peoples, and when you do subscribe, please let him know that Mocha's Ladies Lounge or Mocha's Cafe de Paris is the one who sent you. I like to give content creators their flowers, especially if I'm using their content, and I think they're saying something that's very edifying. But yes, we're definitely going to go into that because he breaks it down very, very thoroughly, y'all. And of course, when he's done breaking it down, I'm going to be back with my commentary because this is a very, very sad situation. And definitely, we need to dive into this. As y'all know, I am a family violence intervention professional provider. So anytime there's anything related to family domestic violence, this is definitely something I want in on, because I know I can definitely contribute to the knowledge of this as well. So please make sure y'all hit that like button for everybody who's coming in. If you're going to be catching the playback, I would gladly appreciate that. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Okay. Try to blow this up just a little bit. Okay.
Breaking this morning, the Gwinnett County Police Department is investigating a deadly shooting. It happened around 7 p.m. last night on Lee Road near Snellville. Police say they received a call about a domestic dispute in the area, and a person shot. When they arrived, they found a man shot and took him to the hospital where he died. The motive of the shooting is being investigated, but police say there is no threat to the public.
Domestic dispute outside of residence leads to deadly shooting. August 8th, 2025.
Again, this is fair use for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for viewing, and please hit that like button. Thank you.
The Gwinnett County Police Department is investigating a shooting at a residence that resulted in the death of one man. At approximately 7 p.m., officers assigned to the South Precinct were dispatched to a resident in the 3900 block of Lee Road in unincorporated Snellville. The caller reported that a dispute took place at the residence and someone was shot. When officers arrived at the incident location, they located the man who was shot and rendered aid. Gwinnett County Fire Rescue transported the man to a local area hospital where he ultimately passed away from the injuries sustained. One person was detained at the shooting location and is in the process of being interviewed by detectives. The case is being investigated as a homicide. The motive for the shooting is still under investigation. The identity of the victim will be released following next of kin notification. There is no active threat to the public.
Okay, y'all, so I'm going to pause right here before I allow Hood Educated to continue. Please make sure y'all subscribe to him. Like I said, he's really, really good. I enjoy a lot of his content, and he does contribute a lot of knowledge. So as y'all can see, this young man died. He actually passed from this. So someone is going to have to answer. Allegedly, everyone is in on stating that it was Kelsey who called her brothers, and we know anytime it comes to domestic violence situations, and especially a female calling her brothers or male cousins to the situation, it never ends well. It just doesn't. And that's basically what happened. Women are very, very emotional. They get upset. And knowing they're still going to be with the man, knowing they're going to, still somehow, some way still deal with him, they get overly emotional, and they will call other people to come in and fight their battles for them when it comes to these relationships. Keep in mind, a lot of these relationships are toxic, and I'm not saying this is the case with Kelsey and T Hood, but they're used to fighting, throwing blows, getting back together, smashing, fighting, getting back together. So a lot of these relationships have conditioned themselves to toxicity. But I'm going to let Hood Educated pretty much explain the whole scenario, and then I'm going to be back with my commentary. I don't want to take away too much from the time that I have on here, so let Mr. Hood Educated break down the elements of everything.
Now, when we hear domestic violence, the first thing that comes to our mind that, a brother and a sister is having some type of disagreement, and somebody gets so angry that they put hands on the other person and stuff like that, or there's just a bunch of arguing going on. But if you are familiar with domestic violence, you will know that a lot of the times when there's a domestic dispute, somebody going to jail, somebody dying, or somebody is being harmed, period. It's not just an argument, even though sometimes it go like that. And in this case right here, it's not the woman. Because when we hear domestic violence, we automatically think damn, a man beating on a woman. You know what I'm saying? A man done killed a woman. He done choked her. He done did some foul to her. He threatening her. He yelling at her. He's just taking advantage of her. When we hear domestic violence, this is what we automatically think. And 9 times out of 10, that we are probably right and to think like that. But not all the time. Because sometimes it goes the other way, like in this demonstration. According to reports, they are saying that rapper T Hood was killed by his girlfriend's brothers. And his girlfriend is none other than, what's that brother name off Love and Hip Hop? Kirk Frost? The one that go with Rasheeda? Yeah. This is his daughter. She is the one that was in a relationship with T Hood. Now, for those of you who don't know about T Hood is an Atlanta rapper who's on the rise. He remade that Soulja Boy song and stuff like that, and he got some other music. Check it out.
Okay, I don't want any copyright issues, so I'm going to skip his songs. Hood Educated been doing this long enough, so he probably done found ways to get around it, but I don't want to take that chance.
You see what I'm saying? So he's a talented young brother. And then for Kirk Frost's daughter, she calls herself Frosty the Snow Bunny, and she's an entertainer as well. She rap as well, and she's a talented sister. Check it out.
Nope, I'm not going to play hers either. Because I think once the story really starts escalating, her family is going to probably be copy striking everybody left and right. So I don't want to take that chance, but let's go. Make sure y'all hit that like button, by the way.
How was T Hood dead all of a sudden? Well, the word on the street is this right here. Her and T Hood was getting into it. She called her brother over there. Not the little brother, because from my understanding, the little brother already stayed at the house. So it was either her or her brother who called the big brother. Now, from what I'm getting, they're saying that he already had a problem with one of the brothers. He already done got into some type of, dispute and argument or even a scuffle with one of the brothers. So he gets into it with his woman, Frosty the Snow Bunny, and then next thing you know, he ends up dead.
Now this, as y'all can see, and I do have to interject from time to time, y'all, to eliminate too much copyright use. And again, please subscribe to Hood Educator if you have not already. This is already not a good look. Just the fact that all of them were residing in the same space. And the fact that her brother was already beefing with her boyfriend. This was a recipe. This was a recipe for disaster. Okay, and a lot of women, we don't understand that. Anytime we have men that we love that are beefing with each other or at odds with each other, we have to do our due diligence and not allow them to cross paths as much as possible. Meaning, in other words, you don't need to let your uncles, you don't need to let your brothers, your male cousins know that you and your man are having issues or whatever the case is. And if he's physically beating up on you, especially if you don't plan on leaving. It's just too many women who have done that because they just want sympathy for the moment, and it's very, very risky. And I suggest to all men out there, I don't care if you got sisters, I don't care if you got nieces, you got to use your due diligence when it comes to getting involved in these toxic relationships, because a lot of times, and I'm not saying this was the case with Kirk's daughter, but in many instances these women just cry wolf and they be wanting attention, and they don't mind who they sacrifice or whose safety they put at stake, because they're so in their feelings and they're so overly emotional that they're not thinking further down the road ahead. But I'll let Hood continue.
Now, I don't know who shot him. Word on the street is that the little brother and the big brother shot him. But I have no evidence to back that up, but this is just the word on the street. They saying that both of them shot this man to death. And the cold-blooded part about everything is this. After they shot him, They didn't call fire, rescue, no ambulance, no police or nothing. They left him there, bleeding to death. But when Frosty the Snow Bunny, Kirk's daughter, called her other sister or called a friend, she told them what happened. And they called the police and told the police, hey, look, somebody got shot over there. Y'all need to get over there right now.
Now, if that's not crazy, they didn't render any aid, and again, we have to say allege. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, okay? No one has been arrested. None of that has happened yet, right? But just the fact, this is already not a good look if this is the real case of the situation. They didn't render no aid to T Hood, which means they deliberately did not take any precautions to at least try to save his life. The show that would have showed a little bit of empathy, like, okay, we did, pow him, but we did try to render aid once we realized, the consequences at hand. All of this is not looking too good, and the fact that Kelsey decided to call someone else versus calling the ambulance versus calling the police, she called someone else who in turn had to call the police and report it to the police. All of this is not looking good for the Frost, but we'll continue.
The people at the residence, her brothers and her, Frosty the Snow Bunny, they didn't call the police. They left that boy there to die. Cold-blooded demonstration. Now here it is. We got T Hood laying in a pool of blood dying. The people around him is not trying to give him no type of aid whatsoever. They ain't calling fire, rescue, ambulance or nothing. And then now the police show up. So the police, as y'all can see, I read the report, the police is calling this a homicide. No, this ain't one of those domestic disputes where, you get to kill somebody and you get scot-free because this person was choking you to death or this person was trying to kill this person, so you pulled out a gun and you shot and killed them. This ain't one of them. They calling this a homicide, and somebody has already been arrested for this homicide. We don't know if it's the big brother. We don't know if it's the little brother. We don't even really know if it's Frosty the Snow Bunny, if she was arrested. Because I would have to believe in my mind, after the brothers, if that is true, if they shot and killed him, hey, we gone. We done shot this man up. We got to get up out of here. So the person that could be arrested, it could be her. But look, again, this is fresh off the press, so I'm just giving you what the street is giving me. Now, another story is this right here, y'all. They are saying that T Hood got into it with Kelsey. That's her real name.
Please hit the like button, by the way. Shout out to Hood Educated. Please subscribe to him if you haven't already.
The Frosty the Snow Bunny stuff. Kelsey's brother, the little brother, put them things on. The little brother got too much pride and ego. He can't just let that go. He leaves the house, go gets his big brother, come back with a gun and shot T Hood 5 times, killing him. Now, again, when stuff like this first come out, we're going to get all these stories and stuff like that, but once the full report come out, once people get arrested and all that, then we would have actual factual stuff. But the only facts that we know now is that T Hood was shot multiple times, and that brother is resting in peace. He is no longer with us. I would like to extend my condolences to his family, to any children that he got, mother, father, brother, cousins, anybody that loved this man. I want to extend my condolences to them.
All right, y'all, definitely big ups to Hood Educated for dropping all of those gems, dropping that knowledge. We definitely appreciate that. So as y'all can see, y'all, the Frosters are going to have their work cut out. We're talking about lawyers. We're talking about trial. We're talking about constantly incarceration. And anybody who's ever experienced knows, anytime your loved one commits an offense this serious, it can get very, very costly. It can get very, very expensive, right? So I just want to refresh y'all on who the Frosters are, because some of y'all don't do reality shows anymore, and I get it. I totally get it. So this is the Frost right here, y'all. This is Kirk and Rasheeda. This is their youngest son, Cannon. All right, this is the oldest son who's in question, and he had a serious car accident. I think like earlier this year. So yeah, he's definitely he's overcome a lot. So yes, this is Rasheeda, y'all, and this is Kirk. Like I said, they had weathered many storms, but at this point right now, it is the whole family that's definitely going to have to deal with this situation that's going to be very overwhelming. This is Rasheeda and Kirk with their first little one. Yeah, but I'm trying to see if I can find a whole family portrait. Okay, so this is the whole family portrait. This is Kelsey. This is Rasheeda and Kirk's oldest, who they are alleging had the weapon, and this is Kirk's other children. Now this is Cannon, I believe, from Jasmine, but yes, now he does have other sons, so I don't know if this son was involved with Kai or this son was involved with Kai. Again, the details are very, very sketchy, y'all, so as of right now, we really can't pinpoint exactly until more information comes out, y'all. But yeah, this is a very, very sad situation. I'm gonna see if I can share another clip from someone else. I'm not gonna share a whole lot, but let's see. Okay, because there's so many people talking about this, y'all. Okay, I'll share a little bit of
now that the family has been notified, and it was T. Hood, the person who lost their life in this shooting. Now, man, let's actually look at this news story that talks about what we knew at the time or what took place last night before we get to the report.
Breaking this morning, the Gwinnett County Police Department is investigating a...
We already played the news with Hood Educated, so we're going to get past that, okay? All right, y'all.
So you heard there from the reporter's mouth exactly what happened in the situation, at least, or reportedly what happened in the situation so far, man. Regardless, it's a tragedy, but there's rumors amidst. And before we get to the rumors, let's actually get to the news stories that are out there. Now,
fair use, fair use, fair use for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please hit the like button, y'all. Thanks.
As you see here, here is a news report from the local news affiliate there in Atlanta, and basically it breaks down what happened in that this took place in Gwinnett County. Now, for those of you who don't know the landscape of Atlanta, Gwinnett County was always traditionally a well-to-do suburb of Atlanta, a place where people moved from inner city Atlanta to the outskirts, and it was full of, now there's starting to be a crime element that's moving in and around Gwinnett County, even though they do a good job of trying to keep a lot of that out, right? Now, in this report, it says this: rapper found shot, killed at Gwinnett County home. Now, obviously, that rapper that they're talking about is T. Hood. T. Hood was a local rapper, but once you're a local rapper in Atlanta, you know, there's a lot of opportunity once you start getting some good looks there. And it looks like T. Hood was taking advantage of a lot of those opportunities, and he had recently did an interview and everything. Now, you're starting to see this interview clip start to circulate on social media of T. Hood, just recently, man, an interview he had did, I heard, after he had got shot. But a lot of rest in peace and condolences to his family, you know, is being spread throughout the social media landscape in Atlanta and around Atlanta. You know what I mean?
I ask you, so because your song was released in August, the video was released in January, and Twerkulator just dropped over the weekend. I feel like there was like some type of like anticipation in Atlanta, like, okay, when is T Hood gonna say something? Because what took you so long to actually come out on Instagram and be like, okay, I publicly, like, I have an issue with this?
I really don't have no issue with it. I really just want us to, you know, get a connection and get an understanding of what's going on.
Now, you can tell by his accent, he's very, very Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended. No, I'm so ATL intended, but dude is definitely Atlanta to the core.
Yeah, so y'all, I just want to get to the main issue at hand, y'all, because we on borrowed time.
T. Hood was shot by his girlfriend's brother. So that would be Kirk and Rasheeda's son, or either adopted son or stepson or somebody in the family. So this was totally a family-related thing, man. So it looked like there was an argument between people at the house, and then it led to some gunplay, man. Started off as a fight, led to some gunplay. But let's continue with the news story. All right, so in the news story it says Gwinnett County Police are investigating a shooting at a home in an unincorporated Lilburn neighborhood. Officers say that they were called to a home on Lee Road at 7 p.m. to reports of a dispute that led to gunfire. So it looked.
So pretty much, y'all, he's pretty much regurgitating the same points that that Hood Educator has pretty much already given us the blueprint on that. So I'm gonna just go in to give him my thoughts. Right, this is my whole intake on this. It just sounds like to me, Kelsey, like a lot of these young women are very dramatic, very emotional, and sounds like her and her boyfriend had a really, really bad moment. And instead of her allowing that moment to be left just between him and her, she decided to actually get her brothers involved, okay? Now, mind you, Hood had already said earlier that her boyfriend already didn't get along too well with one of her brothers, and I'm sure it's one of the ones who was involved in this. So the pressure probably been brewing for a long time. And when she called and made that statement, whatever she said, hey, he's over here, throwing bows on me, this and that, and her brother went ham, okay? Instead of him just kind of, hey, if he was going to get involved, let me see what's going on, and kind of just not arriving there, with a hot head and already fired up. If only he just would have took a few moments to just kind of reflect, because these females can get overly emotional and they make a lot of bad choices because they're too busy being in their feelings at the moment. And as the saying goes, don't make permanent decisions based off of temporary feelings. But I believe that's what she did. And when she called her brother, 9 times out of 10, he reached out to the other brother, so-and-so over there roughing our sister up, man, this ninja been on something. I ain't never liked this dude to begin with, being that he's a rapper, in ATL, you know what I mean, it probably was already some low-key hate, or maybe with some arrogance on her behalf. But whatever the case is, when men beef with each other, their beef is totally different from women, because they go for the kill. They don't do all that he say, she say, whatever. So he went over there fired up, and to actually unalive him with 5 shots, that was some intense hate. That just wasn't no I'm mad or I'm in the heat of the moment. Nah, for you to use a multiple amount of bullets in this man, nah, you came over there already full of hate, full of wickedness, and that's why you was not able to think straight when you made that decision. So it's going to be very ugly. From my understanding, she has gone online, and I'm gonna see if I could find. I'm see if I could go online and find her her Instagram post, because I remember she did come out trying to clarify and explain what was said. And let me tell you something, the victim, his sister, and his family, they ain't playing the radio. They done pretty much said they know this was done intentionally, on purpose. So it's going to get real ugly. Like I said, I doubt they're going to take it lying down. And can you blame them? Absolutely not. When somebody takes your loved one's life like that, this man had siblings, he had friends, family, you know what I mean? So they're not going to take it lying down. And I just hope Kirk and Rasheeda knows they're in for a long journey. If it really went down like they said, this is going to be a long journey. Okay, so I did find it, y'all, and I'm just going to read it off. First off, because I guess basically a lot of people was going in on the comment section. Everybody has gotten the word that she was the one who pretty much instigated it and provoked this whole situation. And again, this is all alleged, but a lot of people have been going in under the comment section, especially since the victim's sister, T Hood's sister, came out and basically said, nah, Kelsey meant to do this. She did this intentionally, and I'm not buying the whole I didn't know this was going to happen act. But you know, when families get emotional, they're going to blame somebody, even if that person has not been proven. And like I said, all suspects are innocent until proven guilty. But her post goes as follows. First off, I've been advised not to speak up by plenty of parties. I can't sit back and let this narrative being created go on. The love of my life is gone. The man I lie with and cuddle every single night is no longer here. So as I want to ask for respect and privacy, I won't, because I will always defend my baby. I don't condone this ish in any shape, form, or fashion. I'm sick to my stomach. I don't wish this on anyone. My brain is all over the place. This is a total nightmare, but I'm going to get this off. I don't even have time to grieve or say my respects in the right manner because I am defending myself. Being too busy defending myself, being attacked by people who are creating weird and sick rumors. I'm not good at talking, but I would love to give insight and let the people who love him in to get understanding. I don't have the right words, but I want to keep typing while also respecting his family and loved ones. So please stop listening to people who want there. Listen to all those rumors and conspiracy theories will get nobody anywhere but just following a false narrative. I hate I have to even post this, but I won't let y'all bully me and put the blame on me, making it seem like we weren't one. I ain't ever fancied to no ish like this. I love my man with my entire heart, sending me threats. I'm grieving too. I am hurting too. I didn't harm anyone or ask anyone to harm him. I didn't call for anyone to come help me. I didn't ask for this. I would never. My baby was still healing from being shot 3 times. Oh yeah, y'all. He previously had been shot before and he survived it. Anyway, we handed our business in private. I am livid also. I didn't call my family for help. For one, I'm the only girl and I know we won't be right back together that same night. If anything, I don't involve my folks in our business. I didn't call a brother. I didn't call anyone but his mother. That's my baby. I don't care who's involved. I don't condone this. I am not okay. So no, I'm not going to sit here and let y'all create some sick narrative of me. I never want him hurt or call anyone to get him hurt no matter what. We always got through anything together, and now I am alone in this. I will keep speaking my truth for my baby. He was leaving and he should still be here. I love you, baby. Please come visit me and take me with you. I can't argue with you all. I can't argue with all of you, and I don't want to. Y'all were here, pick and choose what you want, but I didn't want this. Ask for it, call for it, set it up, or ask for anything. I would never. Stop playing on my name. Real ones know he wouldn't approve. Y'all, so his real name is Tevin Hood, and he is 33 years old. So, yeah, no arrests have been made, y'all. Again, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. She's denying the allegations, clarifying that only she called his mother. So, and I really, at this point, who's going to tell the truth, you know? Who's going to, if it was that way at this point? Let's face it, a lot of these young people, they get themselves in situations and they don't tell anybody. They don't ask anybody any advice on what they think can happen. They just go for what they know. Young people have never really, this younger generation, they really lack discernment, and they will not seek wisdom, knowledge, or understanding from people who are older, who can give them some insight on things before they just make a decision. So everybody is in the comment section. I'm just going to read a few. I'm not going to read all night. She didn't deny her brothers killing them. She just said clearing her name. Someone else said, all I'm going to say is that none of us in these comments know what happened for real. And remember, y'all did that exact same thing to PNB Rock baby mama. Blame her for setting him up, for it only come out that she had absolutely nothing to do with it and that nothing she posted could have prevented it. Like literally jump down her throat without getting all the facts. We need to learn from our mistakes and let the facts play out. This literally just happened. Stop blaming her till the detectives do their job. And I agree. There's too many internet investigators who's trying to put the pieces together. And that's why I'm going to keep saying alleged. And I'm going to keep saying all suspects are innocent until proven guilty, because we really don't know. We don't know if this young man has been backdoored. We don't know. But from the looks of it, what we do know is that this man lost his life. Okay? And that by itself, regardless of who ends up being held accountable for it, that within itself is very sad. I can imagine what his family and his friends are going through. Just reading a few, and I go through these comments, y'all, because a lot of these people who from Atlanta, they be kind of having some familiarity about it. So you'll be surprised how people be dry snitching and giving out information, not even thinking. This is sad. Dry snitching on your own blood to protect your abuser, even in death. This is why people need to just stay out of relatives' relationships when their person doesn't want to leave the abuser. It's a lost cause. He was leaving. Great job. Placed yourself at the scene of a murder. Laughing my ass off. That's exactly what they advise her not to. That's why exactly why they advise her not to talk. Yes, y'all. A guilty person, listen, a guilty person, they cannot be silent, right? The fact that she said he was leaving, that placed her at the scene of the murder. Everybody saying, boom, there you go. They doing the work for the police. Reminds me of the Drewski skit. Yeah, they already knew she was at the scene of the murder, considering she was there when they got there. Her being there was never questioned. Who else says? And some people still trying to be funny. Y'all think Rasheeda's still having a concert? Absolutely not, because this has to be very nerve-wracking. Your whole family is slow because someone told her not to say anything publicly, and she still did it. Okay. Yeah, so everybody, it's mixed feelings, but for the most part, everybody is not really having any empathy for Kelsey, righteously so, y'all. And it's going to be more that's going to unfold, so it's not too much I can go into at this point in time, because it's still very, very sketchy. But I will say this. Who's ever involved, they are definitely done open their life to a whole nother world that I don't think they're going to be ready for. I mean, however angry you was at that moment, I bet you're not that angry right now. And that's the bad part about anger, is that anger will stir you up, and then you be on your high. You be on that high of being so angry, but then when it wears off, it's like you got to deal with your reality, you know. And the sad part is everybody's going to get affected by this. And if Rasheeda and Kirk's children had any part in this, there's going to be a triple whammy, because Kirk's daughter, one of Kirk's, both of Kirk's sons, and then one of Rasheeda's sons, because they share two sons together. So it's going to be really ugly, you know. And I definitely feel for the victims, because at the end of the day, T-Hood, he is not here. So imagine what his family's going through. Before we have all the sympathy for the Frost, think about what T-Hood family has to go through. They lost a son, they lost a nephew, he might have had children. I'm going to see if he had children. I don't think he did, but I'm about to find out. Does T-Hood have children? Because I'm wondering about that. Okay, so no, and believe it or not, y'all, because he's like an underground rapper, there's not a whole lot that I was able to pull up. No, it does not look like he doesn't have any children, but if he does, somebody in the comment section definitely let me go or whatever. Sorry, y'all, somebody's always bothering me. Can't talk now. Okay, so anyway, y'all, leave y'all comments below. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Does it sound sketchy to y'all that there's some deep involvement with Kirk's daughter? And again, we all can just say alleged, because again, we don't know. The case is still fresh off the press. It's still an investigation going on, but just based off of what we heard so far, do y'all really think there's a high probability that she could have played a major part in this young man being unalived? Or do y'all think, because these rappers do be having a whole lot of other controversy going on, do you think it's a possibility he could have been backdoored by someone else? I don't know. What do y'all think? Please leave y'all comment below. Let me know. Other than that, y'all, definitely my heart goes out to both families. Definitely first and foremost the family of victim rapper T Hood, and also to the Frost. I mean, for the most part, like I said, I've never heard anything bad about their kids. We had a lot of controversy surrounding their marriage, but their kids never been online crashing out, doing nothing crazy like T.I.'s son. I don't see them really clout chasing, so it probably was just one bad incident that got out of hand, but unfortunately somebody is going to pay for this. Somebody's going to prison, somebody's going to do jail time, and I really feel for the Frost because all 3 of their children are involved in this. So I can only imagine what they're going through. So Rasheeda and Kirk, they're not thinking about no K. Michelle right now. They got bigger issues at hand. And it's just a reminder, y'all, whatever you're upset about, whatever your feelings about, you just have to get over it, because something major can always happen later on down the line. So anyway, y'all, I appreciate y'all. Leave y'all like button, and I will be talking with y'all soon. Take care. Bye.